Hey YouTube, it's Tamara Rose Blodgett, and I know it's been a long time since I put out a video. I've had a lot of personal things going on, and I think that now they're finally addressed and I can move forward. And in doing so, I've done a lot of soul searching about what I want to do with my channel. And I think this channel, as I've mentioned before, is a variety channel. And I will probably only be doing videos that with subjects that I'm passionate about. And that would be, of course, nutrition, and that encompasses my Hashimoto's healing journey, which has been lengthy. I just got my blood work done yesterday, and I am going to be sharing that here on YouTube. And what's important about that is that if my Hashimoto's numbers have gone down, I can then get a new prescription for my thyroid hormone. And what that will allow me to do is take less of it toward the end of not taking it at all. And I have now rounded out my elimination diet of 3 months on November 5th, election day. That's just a weird coincidence. It did end, and I have not bothered to put anything in yet, but we are going to be going to Mazatlan in a couple of weeks, and I will be eating differently there, but still very much zero carb. Most recently, in keeping with Hashimoto's healing, I have increased my fat to 200 grams at a minimum. And I already notice a little bit better result from that. I have a thing that happens behind my eyes where I kind of feel like they're bulging a little bit and they don't feel right when I don't have enough fat. And so that's why I started to increase it. And of course that went away instantly. I'll be getting my teeth cleaned. I'll be getting my hair trimmed. I'm very excited about going down to Mazatlan. We won't be there a long time this year, just 4.5 months, but that's plenty. And stay on that's the health front, okay? Because this is like a catch-up video. On the hair front, you can see I had a wash day today. I got up real early and did it first thing because I had my doctor's appointment at 9 and I didn't want to get all fussy with that and have to come back and do it later. It takes hours for my hair to dry. So it's still slightly damp, and it's about 1:30, and I did it at 5. So that's how many hours it took for it to get about 90% dry. And I also took an hour-long walk, so I was out in the open air, and that helps it. Otherwise, it still would have been damp a little bit right now even. But on the hair front, I will be, I'm paying to have a gal down in Mexico who does my very important lashes. I have a gal that does it here too. Her name is Teresa, and I love her. She's a young girl, and she does a fantastic job. I feel so much more confident and pretty and vibrant without having to use the horrible mascara. It's such a benefit. And I have a gal down in Mexico, in Mazatlan, and her name's Gabby, and she does my lashes down there for me. And this time I had my friend B make an appointment for her to do my henna. So what is henna? Let's talk about that a little bit. Henna is a natural plant product. It's got one ingredient of itself. It's crushed into a powder, and I used it when I was about 39. And before anybody starts shouting about how it's not natural and I'm covering gray and stuff like that, clearly my grays don't bother me, right? Because I've been letting my hair grow out for its natural color for about 3 years now. The last time I did a henna was in June of 2021, and I didn't do one after that. And then I did a big chop the next year because I was just tired of having long hair, and I wanted the henna color out, and I wanted to kind of see what my hair would look like with its natural color. And now you can see it's about waist length in the back. I have some shorter hairs which make it appear a little shorter in the front because that's where the shorter hairs are. But I'm about waist length right now, which is great. And when I go in to get my hair trimmed, I will be having the gal decide how much I need off. She usually looks at my ends, and then I'm hopeful and I say 1 finger's worth, and then she usually gives me 4. But since I'm not doing heat, I'm very careful with my hair. I have a satin pillowcase. I braid it every night to sleep in it and stuff so it doesn't get abraded. I wear protective styles, or I don't slick it back so that there's a lot of tension. I've done all those things. I have very good protein consumption, which is you have to have 9 ounces or more to have surplus, so that it gets sloughed off on your skin and your nails and your hair when you have sufficient protein. I'm doing all those things, and she's noticed. And the last 2 times I've come in for a trim, which was last season, when I first get there, I get a trim, and when I leave, I get a trim. And she was able to tell me one finger. And I was very excited. I was like, okay, so that's when you start to really gain ground, is when you don't have to trim really hard, and then you're able to get length retention too. So the first goal is length retention for me. I want hair that's so long that it's down real low, but when I go to sit down, I can't sit on it. It's a couple of inches, 2 or 3 inches higher than if I was to be touching the chair. I don't know if that's classic length. I'll have to look it up. Hip length, I'm not sure what that's called, but that's what I like. And that's what I'm going for. The second thing is that I'm super tired of my color, and it's not the gray. I figure I'm about 15 or 20% gray. What I'm not liking is just the blah brown. And it could be that the gray's in there, and that's what I'm not liking, is that it's just blah. It looks kind of mousy to me right now, but I'm open to your guys' vote. The henna is coming. We're ready to pack it in my suitcase and take it down to Mazatlan, and I will mix it up and bring the plastic bowl and the wooden spoon and the plastic wrap. As you guys know, I did henna for a solid 10 years. I've grown it out twice, once in 2015, and then for a brief time during COVID. And if I had really been serious, that would have been the time for me to grow it out, because there was lots of ladies that were growing out their hair during COVID because they couldn't get to their stylist. They weren't willing to commit. They were depressed about being locked down and masked and all that stuff. And so all kinds of ladies just grew out their hair. Many girls stayed gray. My situation is that for my age, I don't have a lot of gray. And that was the thing I promised myself. I was like, when I really seriously go gray, I'm going to let it come in. Well, it's not real serious yet. It's like maybe 20%, and it's so boring to me. And so I'm like, I feel like I'll be more confident and feel prettier with the red hair. I've always liked the red hair. I'm a natural chestnut brown. When I began henna, I had lots of different colors in my hair. It was brown, and it was blonde, and it was black, and it was brown, or red, and I had all of them. And henna is a very interesting process. It dyes the hair a translucent red. Basically, it coats each strand with translucent red so that your actual hair strand color does show through to some degree tinted red. So if you have a black hair, it tints it like a mahogany or a wine. If you have a white, gray, or blonde hair, it's like a bright copper. And there is a 2 or 3 day oxidation phase where when you do your hair, it has kind of an orange panic look, where it looks really orange that first 2 or 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, right in there, and then it calms down. I really love the look of the variation of color. It's a lot more natural looking than, say, the box dyes, where all the strands of hair are colored a uniform color, which isn't found in nature. Everybody has a lot of different strand colors within their head of hair, and that's why dyes usually look so bad. And girls that want to do high lights and low lights to try to capture that natural look of variegated hair color end up paying a ton of money to do it. I have a friend who's a natural dirty blonde, and she does high and low lights in her hair, and it looks so natural and so great, and that cost her $200 every 3 weeks. I'm just gonna buy the henna, and it's gonna be about 20 bucks. And I'll do a video on that if you guys are interested. Girls, if you're watching for my hair, my long hair retention, my interest in doing a henna, henna is also it'll lay down your hair follicle. It's super permanent. It can't be stripped without wrecking your hair. You have to actually cut it out. It does fade over time, but it remains on the hair strand forever. My hair doesn't take henna very well. I have extremely low porosity hair. That means it's tough to get wet. It doesn't dry fast. It doesn't accept color, water, anything. It's very healthy hair, and it's just really impervious to any elements or liquid or anything like that. So I can't goof around. When I do a henna, I have to be really aggressive with it. and make sure the henna is saturating my hair. It stays on for a little while and then I take it off. It's a goopy mess. And the concession I had to make this time was that if I was to do henna, I was no longer going to be a DIY girl. I'm 57 and it's just something I think I'd prefer to pay for. So I called around and I found out it was $60. Now henna tends to darken hair. It's like a tomato being chucked at a white shirt. If you have a white shirt on the wall and you chuck a tomato at it, each time you chuck a new tomato at it, after the last, the stain of the tomato continues to darken. And that's what henna is, it's a stain. So in my situation, I don't want that helmet look, the magic marker, the black magic marker look, and henna will darken my hair. So the key there is to do a whole head henna once, maybe twice a year, and then just have someone else touch up the roots. So I'm going to do that and see how I like it, because what I was noticing is, because my hair grows very quickly, I was noticing a little bit of tinsel and demarcation appearing at my part and around, you know, where you would notice that kind of thing, in a way that I didn't as much before. And it's because henna was kind of like my natural hair color, but more red. And so I had probably 20% red in my hair, you know, 70% brown, and the remaining stuff was blonde and black, okay? So I was predominantly dark brown with quite a bit of red, and then some blonde and black. I had one gray hair when I began henna, a stubborn one just right in the front, and I left it. I was like, it can be it, I don't care. When I let it grow out after 10 years, I was like, okay, now I'll be gray. I'll be gray and this will look great. And I was like 1% gray in 2015. Now I'm 20. So I am increasing gray hair. There is some supposition. I can't validate this, you guys. This is anecdotal, but there's some carnivore people that have reversed their graying and don't get as much gray hair. They used to be, say, for instance, for an example, 20% gray, and then they started eating carnivore and it went down to 10. I don't know if there's any validity to that. It'll be interesting though, because I can tell where my gray hairs are for the most part. I do have some blonde hairs in the front too, but they'll appear copper, like a burnished copper. I am waiting to see if that works. And so that's the hair thing, and that's probably what I'm gonna focus on for one of my videos in the next month, is the henna getting done, and then take, you know, a little bit of video of that for fun when I'm at the salon. And after I do that, I'm probably going to do some hairstyle videos too. But I will get back to the frugal fashion. But right now, I'm just nothing fits. That's the truth of it. When I get down to my proper weight, I will then try on some of the new clothes that I got in anticipation of that. Because since my thyroid's been fixed and I'm taking thyroid hormone, I'm slowly losing weight just naturally. And hopeful that my numbers will come back better. I would also like to start author readings on my YouTube. I know I said I wouldn't, but it makes sense because this is where I've got my channel, instead of trying to do it on my website. I just don't think I'm going to gain the traffic there, but I'll see. I'll figure it out. Anyway, you guys, it's just an update video. I didn't want to miss this time. Love you guys. Please subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.